Hey, what's up, everybody? Can everyone hear me okay? We are not having our standard intro tonight. I need to edit that video, so I do apologize. I know that is always something folks look forward to. But yeah, I got to find a new song for it because apparently there was some copyright issues with the last um, piece of music that I tried to use for our intro video. But no worries, I'm gonna get that fixed before the next tournament. Um, yeah, hopefully everybody can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. Let me open up comments real quick, make sure everything's working. Joel's not going to be able to join us tonight. He's having dinner with his family, so I want him to enjoy that time. And yeah, I'll make this as short and sweet as I can. I know um, we got the NFL draft tonight. I don't know if anybody else is excited for that, but I'm looking forward to seeing what my team does. The best team in the NFL. Go Pittsburgh. But yeah, so I have some slides. We'll knock that out here as well. Got a couple updates. I think everybody by now should have seen the email updates that I pushed out earlier. It was either earlier this week or I think it was earlier this week. But yeah, we got the venue locked down on Saturday. It's going to be at Twisted Oak Farm Brewery in White Post, just north of Front Royal. So looking forward to that. Huge shout out to them. We'll be sure to tag them up and everything. It seems like a really cool place. I've never been there before. But yeah, lots of parking, which is great for us. That's kind of one of our almost must-haves now, with a lot of folks having trailers and whatnot these days for the kayak. So venues with parking is really good, and obviously we like food and drink. So yeah, like I said, I'll cover that here in a little bit as well. I'll just touch on that one more time. Let me go ahead and pull up our slides for the evening. Anybody look at weather? I haven't really looked at the weather a whole lot. I saw there was a little bit of a cold front moving in, and I think some rain. Let me just look real quick. Doesn't look too terrible, at least as far as Front Royal is. That's kind of where I base everything out of, the Front Royal area. Yeah, man, I haven't watched a lot of hockey, Frank, but I did see the Pens were down 0-2. I don't know what they did the other night, but I imagine not too well. Sounds like Philly is going to be taking that. I grew up closer to Philadelphia. Obviously, I'm not a Virginia native, but I should be an Eagles fan geographically. But yeah, no, it's all about the black and gold for me. All right, cool. Let me do what I said I was going to do. Pull up these slides. There we go. We're also trying to work on getting some more use out of, like, I know StreamYard streams to YouTube, but we're also trying to get the YouTube studio to play nice with us, mainly to play nice with my camera. So I'm dabbling in that. Eventually, we may try to move away from StreamYard. Nothing against StreamYard. I love StreamYard, but it is getting pretty expensive. So we're always about trying to save our quarters here at NVKBA. But that means I need to get a little bit more tech savvy with this streaming stuff. So sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. All right, cool. Here is the captain's meeting for trail stop number 3. Hard to believe we're at number 3 already. April's been fast and furious. I know when we talked about a little bit at the last awards meetup over at Great Maine, but we've had a lot of what seemed to be back-to-back events over the last month. I love it. I know you guys love it. But here, after this event, things will start to taper down to kind of our 1 month, or 1 event per month norm. So, but it was really good to try to capitalize on this pre-spawn, spawn, and a little bit of the post-spawn bite here in April. So, all right. Like I said, this is for your Trail Stop 3. This is your official captain's meeting for this Saturday, April 25th on the Shenandoah River, and I'll touch on boundaries as well. I know we had some questions about that. It's always good to refresh everybody on this as well. I know we kind of get into routine over the years, but it's good. We do have a lot of new folks coming in and out, and it's good to kind of reiterate some of this stuff every year. So, all right, cool. We will cover registration, rules overview, pre-fishing, safety, the game day timeline, and then whatever questions you guys and gals have, please push them over to the chat. Like I said, I'm running solo tonight, but I'll get to the questions as best as I can. And then obviously at the end, I'll make sure I hit everything. All right, event registration is going to end on Friday, as usual, at midnight. So we have another day, a little over a day yet to get registered for the event. Everything's done through Fishing Chaos, and you need to be an active member of the club to fish. All right. I left this in here from the last captain's meeting. The last virtual captain's meeting that we had, which would have been for the opener. So basically, pre-fishing has already begun. The official pre-fishing window is the Saturday before each tournament. So this past Saturday was the start of the official pre-fishing window. No fishing out of boats. Make sure you're in an approved competition watercraft. It doesn't have to be your specific kayak, but it needs to be a kayak or canoe or any of the approved watercraft that you're going to be allowed to use on tournament day. I don't think I need to cover all this stuff. Let's see. Yeah, no paid guides within 14 days. And then the 20-inch fish rule, we are going to still require a video release of any fish that's 20 inches and above. Hopefully we get some 20s this weekend. To 20-inch smallmouth bass is a Virginia trophy or citation fish. So if you do catch a 20, make sure you take a lot of good pictures of it. Obviously take your tournament picture that you're going to submit, but make sure you get off all sides of the fish, top, bottom, length. If you can, get a weight. I don't know if pretty sure Virginia still requires you to have a certified scale. So if you do have a certified scale, get the weight of it too. You never know what you're going to catch. But that 20 will definitely get you a trophy certificate from the Virginia DWR. No drones during competition. And then information sharing, I think that's a little bit clarified over here on the right. I'll just pause here for a moment and let y'all read that. Yeah, basically, this was pretty similar last year. I think the second paragraph here was added by KBF. So during the tournament hours of each day, so basically first launch to the time that fishing concludes, contestants may not share information about locating or catching fish on tournament waters, right? We're talking specifics here. It's not a big deal if you're, doing a flyby and waving to somebody, say, hey, how you doing? Having a good day. I don't care about, small talk. But when you start talking details and trying to share information for the purposes of, collaboration, or pulling winnings, any of that kind of stuff is prohibited and will result in a DQ if anybody finds out about it. So just do the right thing, have integrity, and fish hard, fish competitively, and respect each other and respect everybody else who has, paid their hard-earned money to compete and enjoy this time. And, we don't want to put any more black eyes on the sport than there already are. So just keep that in mind. All right, we already talked pre-fishing. We talked registration. Pre-fishing ends tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I had a few folks ask about camping out on the river. That's totally cool. I don't mind if you camp out, tomorrow night. Just don't be in your kayak fishing after 4 p.m. If you're hanging out on the shoreline, having a fire, having a good time, you want to cast a line, catch a catfish or something, not a big deal. But when it comes to, kayak fishing and what we consider kayak fishing to be, that has to cease at 4 p.m. All right. We already talked professional guides, approved watercraft. Early launch is going to be at 6, so 6 a.m. And then lines in will be at 6:30. So you can launch a half an hour early. I think the code's going to come out around 5:30. So code will be out an hour before the event starts. So bring a Sharpie with you or dry erase, whatever you use for your codes. And boundaries. Let me pull up the boundary map really quick. I think that's also on a PDF. All right, so this is what we added to our website a few days ago. So this is actually kind of dated, but it was the best thing I had that I didn't need to fully recreate. So as you can see, this covers the North and South Fork of the Shenandoah River. The starting point, for those who don't know, the Shenandoah River flows north. I sometimes need to remind folks of that. So if you're planning a launch, make sure you're going from south to north for your launch and not north to south. You'll be rudely surprised when you get there and find out the water's going in the wrong direction. So just keep that in mind. The river does go south to north on both the North and the South Fork. All right, so the starting point is south. That's your southernmost boundary at Port Royal, and that's over here on the left. I think, hold on, North Fork and South Fork. So this would actually be the north. Sorry, here's the south. So the South Fork here at Port Royal is those two bridges. Again, water's flowing north, kind of east to north here, and the off limits being on the left sides of those bridges. All the way to the photo on your right is going to be the confluence at Riverton. And that's where the North and the South Fork are going to meet. This area in Riverton, I don't know if I have a good shot of it zoomed in, but Riverton is, there's definitely capability for boats to launch there, so be mindful of that. If you're going to Riverton and you're not doing kind of a traditional float, is this that type of launch where you can recover there? Make sure you have your flags and be visible to boaters out there. Let me back up once here. So this is the North Fork, and this is in Edinburgh, the 675 bridge. So that's going to be your North Fork westernmost boundary, southwest, if you want to call it that. And then again, that goes all the way to the Riverton confluence. So we have north here, South Fork here, and then we're going from Riverton all the way north to Harper's Ferry, and that's off to the right here. As you can see, those two red lines represent the bridges. That top bridge is the railroad bridge, the B&O, and then the one off to the right is the 340 bridge. So this is, again, where it meets the upper Potomac River. So it goes from Shenandoah to Harper's Ferry to upper Potomac. And that little tiny chunk there where you see to the right before the furthest off limits is the only little part of the Potomac River you can technically fish. So just keep that in mind. So if there's any questions about that, let me know. I try to make it as clear as I can. And obviously, kind of goes without saying, but all public launches, we do allow campgrounds as well, as long as they are open to the public and not private campgrounds. All right, let's go back to our captain's meeting. I'll check on questions here really quick. What do we got? What do we got? Who's in the chat? Bob King, how you doing, sir? Corbin, Molnar, Ben, Frank. Good evening, gentlemen. Juan. All right, Frank. Can the ID come out Friday night? Yeah, Frank. We're sticking with the morning of again for this year. I understand. Yeah, service is kind of sketchy. Maybe I'll try to get it out a little earlier than 5:30. How about we shoot for 4 o'clock or something like that, if that helps. But I don't like to have it out too early, if that makes sense. But yeah, maybe I'll change it to 4 o'clock. Let me know if 4 o'clock is good, and if that's good, then we'll go with that. Hopefully, you'll still be on the road with some kind of service at 4 o'clock, or maybe you haven't left yet. All right, safety. PFD, got to have it, got to wear it. Don't be fishing without it. Don't be caught fishing without it. If it's a solid type of PFD, which we do highly recommend on the river, we don't recommend inflatables or Mustangs. Waste PFDs are prohibited regardless, but for river fishing, moving waters, we definitely recommend a solid PFD. We fish these a couple times a year. I think it's really worth it. If God forbid that you capsize or hit a rock or whatever may happen, and that inflatable doesn't inflate, you're in for trouble. So that's why we highly recommend the kind of the solid PFDs. Bring water, drink water tonight. If you're not an avid water drinker like myself, I don't drink enough water. Start drinking water now and make sure you're good and hydrated come Saturday morning. Bring food, bring snacks, bring protein, bring energy. No, it's in the rules, but I always got to reiterate: no drugs, no anything that's going to put you under the influence, whether you have a prescription or not. Don't care. Don't do it. Hold out for 8 hours. No alcohol, things like that. We want you to be safe out there and aware at all times. Visibility, we talked a little bit about that at Riverton. If you're in an area where you see boats, I mean, I'd recommend bringing your flag anyway. But some of your kind of smaller river floats, your more secluded river floats, it's not required. 360 light if you're out there before daybreak, which I think most of us will be. Check-in, check-out feature will be open, and then again, goes without saying, but help others in need. If you see somebody struggling out there, hopefully you float with a buddy. We do recommend that. If you don't, I'm sure there will be another kayaker at your launch, hopefully. But again, keep an eye out for one another, help each other, and things like that. Any emergencies, if anything involves loss of life, limb, or eyesight, call 911 and then notify me as a follow-up. Yeah. All right. I think I hit that pretty good. Game day timeline. We already talked check-in, check-out. Launch etiquette. This won't be as bad as some of the reservoir tournaments and the lake tournaments that we fish, but some of the ramps may be a little congested. So like I said before, you can launch at 6 o'clock, get your kayak in the water and kind of out of the way, away from the boat ramp, and then stage there until you're able to launch and get to your spot at 6 a.m. Lines in 6:30. Lines wet at 6:30. Lines in at 2:30. You have until 3 o'clock. We did enable low resolution images for this tournament. This is one of the events, like Frank said, that service is spotty, so we want to make sure you guys have the ability to upload those photos, even if they are lower resolution. Just give them a double check for me when you do upload them. I know the low res does make them a little bit grainy, so if you zoom in and you're having a hard time telling, where the tail's meeting, whether if the mouth is closed, things like that, just make sure that stuff's visible and scoreable, because I don't want to DQ fish if I don't have to based on low resolution. So that's really the only downside to low resolution, is sometimes an already bad picture will be that much worse. So just make sure you take the best possible picture that you can. Species and limits. For those who don't know and aren't aware, you should be, but in the details, and for many years now, this is a smallmouth only event. So unfortunately, a largemouth bass will not count on Saturday. So it needs to be a smallmouth bass. If you don't know what a smallmouth bass is, get with me, and we'll send you a good picture of one. But they're all over, and it's actually on the cover of the event. So it's the bronze fish, the bronze smallmouth, and it's primarily kind of the dominant fish in this river for what we're doing. I know there's definitely some good largemouth in this river as well, but you're going to catch smallmouth on Saturday, so they're very fun and a little bit different, a little different type of fishing. So it'll definitely get you some good experience, that's for sure. All right, awards are going to be at 4:15, on or around 4:15. I understand it's kind of a stretch for some folks. If you can't make it, totally understand. But it's going to be in White Post, so just north of Front Royal, like I mentioned earlier, at Twisted Oak Farm Brewery in White Post, Virginia, just north of Front Royal. The address went out, I believe, in the email updates that I pushed earlier this week, and they're also in the details. So check them out. If you need help finding that, just let me know. And let me double check. I had a couple other things here I wanted to touch on. So, okay, we talked about boundaries, awards. Oh, yeah, I did catch wind, and I think this was also in the update I pushed out, but there has been a pretty big, but definitely a kind of an uptick in Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources game warden activity on the river. I know several folks were stopped last weekend when pre-fishing and had to show their fishing licenses and their kayak registration if you have a motor. Make sure you have your PFD on, all that stuff, because they are out checking, and I highly anticipate folks being checked tomorrow, or sorry, not tomorrow, but Saturday, because some of the game wardens were even asking kayak anglers if they were fishing the event this weekend. So they know about it. They're going to be out there. So make sure your stuff is up to date, because it's not the club's responsibility. It's the angler responsibility. And, you guys are all out there fishing on your own accord. So make sure that you're good to go and don't get caught and, get yourself burned. I think that's, I'll hit on the last little update that I did not push out. I know we talked about it earlier in the season, but I'll hit that here when we wrap up, which we're about to wrap up. So, yeah, Frank, earliest is good. I know. If you're staying along the river, yeah, I hear you. We'll get it out early. I'm not going to do it tomorrow night, like evening, but I'll get it out early, much earlier than normal. Let's put it that way. All right. I know I went pretty quick on that. If there's any questions, please post them or get with me offline. We appreciate everybody. Let me look real quick where we're sitting for entries. All right. Right now, that's membership. Here we go. Trail Stop 3, we're sitting at 44 anglers, so that's really good. I imagine we'll be probably be well over 50 come Saturday. So that'll make for a nice payout. Right now, Big Fish is sitting at $440. And if I don't have last year's payout calculator handy, but we are $10 short per angler this event because I'm a knucklehead and I did not change the $50 entry fee to $60. So if you're one of those folks who are crying about the $10 increase this year, go sign up because it's $50 right now. I'm joking, but yeah, that is $50. So obviously payouts are gonna be a little bit less, but the big bass will still be $10 per angler. So you're welcome. Christmas in April. But no, that's all I got. No, it's not all I got. I did say I had one more thing. The last update I have is regarding Classic qualification, and I'm going to put this out. I already did put it out on the website. If you do browse the website, you may have seen it already. But this year, instead of doing the top 30, I guess it would be the top 30 AOY plus the 7 trail stop winners. So we always had 37 total anglers that qualified for the Classic. This year, instead of doing that, we always end up doing roll downs. In the last few years, we've always rolled down into the 40s and even like the 50s. So what we're doing, Joel and I have decided this year, is we are just making a one flat cutoff for the Classic, and it's going to be the top 50 anglers in AOY, whether you won an event or not. It's 50. So that's that. That'll, I'm sure we'll get at least 30 plus to sign up. Hopefully all 50 folks sign up, but it has the potential to be an even bigger Classic. So it's going to be top 50, no roll downs, no excuses. And that it will be that for Classic qualification. And we'll see how that goes this year. If it works well, we'll stick with it. If it flops, we'll think of something better. Maybe we'll go back to the old qualification way. But I think it's a really good number, and I think it's definitely doable. Hopefully we get all 50, but if we don't, we know, as in previous years, we've always had roll downs into the 40s and 50s. So anyway, just wanted to put that out for Classic qualification to be the top 50 anglers in the AOY, period. Yeah. All right, cool. We're at 26 minutes. I think I covered everything I needed to cover. I probably didn't cover everything I should have, but that's what questions are for. Again, this is just intended to be a broad kind of overview for the event this weekend, but we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, on the same sheet of music, and enjoys their time out there. And I definitely look forward to seeing everybody at Twisted Oak Farm. They've been very kind to us and offered us a good spot out on their patio. I think it's covered as well, so if it does rain, we should be dry. And yeah, that's all I got, guys and gals. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much for tuning in. Huge shout out to all of our sponsors for what they provide to us every year. And, obviously to all of you guys and gals This is an awesome club. I'm always I talk this thing up all the time. I'm super proud of what we have here, and I hope you guys and gals are too. So with that, have a great evening. Go Steelers. Go enjoy the draft. And we'll see y'all Saturday. Be safe out there. All right. Later.